Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more of the Excavation of Hob's Barrow. So, apologies if the game volume was a little high on the first episode. I did spend a bit of time playing with the audio settings here and getting them to a level I was happy with. And then when I started a new game, I think they completely reset. So I've done it in a slightly different way today. But let's continue, and hopefully the balance will be a bit better this time. So we are looking for the Barrow now. We've arrived at a place called Bridley's Farm. Haven't been here before. Let's find out what the deal is.
Ah, the smell of damp soil and rotting vegetation. I've no desire to wander the furrows.
Oh.
The gate opens out into a vast tilled field.
Okay. Let's come over here. A quick look at the side before we knock on the door. Oh, there's a bucket.
The empty bucket smells of rancid milk.
Yum,
This
yum.
is not mine to take.
Anything else around here? Ooh, there's a goat.
Easy girl.
Getting broken sword vibes.
I'm not fond of goats at the best of times, but this one seems particularly disagreeable.
Oh, you're getting off better than George did.
What a wild-looking thing.
Okay. Let's knock on the door. See if he's home.
What do you want?
My name is Thomasina Bateman. Mr. Bryden, I presume.
Aye.
Oh, Bride,
What do you
not
want,
Bridley.
lass?
I understand Hob's Barrow is located on your land.
Oh, well, yes. Why'd you ask?
I am an antiquarian, Mr. Bryden. I'm writing a volume on the barrows of England.
Oh, I suppose you'll be wanting to dig about it.
If at all possible, Mr. Bryden. I was invited to Bewlay by Mr. Leonard Shoulder, who told me such an excavation would be possible.
Leonard Shoulder? Ha! I haven't seen him in years. The last I heard he were on death's door. There's to be no more digging there, lass. Not since it went so badly last time.
Ooh.
Was there a previous excavation of Hob's Barrow?
Aye. Me brother dug it up. Must have been, 25 years ago. You see, whatever he found inside, well, it drove him mad.
Oh?
Aye. I moved back here to look after him. Poor bastard hanged himself not long after.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bryden. That's terrible.
Aye. Time passes, but it were an awful thing.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Bryden.
We'll just work down the
with
list.
my wife. And I might be long in tooth, but I can still run this farm without too much help.
What did your brother find?
Samuel. Samuel were his name.
Sorry, what did Samuel find in the barrow?
I don't know. But something went wrong. Afterward, he could barely speak. You couldn't make out a word, like.
That must have been hard.
He lost a hand in that excavation too,
Wow.
you know.
Goodness me, how?
I try hard not to speculate on what might have happened, lass. I'd see him disappear into that barrow, dragging timber in with him. You'd hear him hammering away for hours. I offered him help, but he'd have none of it. Soon enough, he blocked the entrance off. To look at it now, you'd never know the thing we dug up. The landers reclaimed it.
Who else was involved in the excavation?
2 others, I believe. Outsiders, perhaps. I can't say for sure. I think they left town pretty swiftly afterwards. I lived in Bakewell at the time. I only moved back here to look after Samuel. I took over the farm when he passed away.
I see. What can you tell me about your farm?
Samuel's fair to side. We're a fortunate family. The soil is fertile here. Crops grow without too much trouble. All the other farmers round here raise livestock. Even Lord Panswick. We grow feed for him.
Most fortunate, Mr. Bryden. Is your wife home?
She's out in fields, lass. Pulling weeds. The curse of such fertile soil. 40 years we've been married. I couldn't do it without her, you see.
How splendid.
Not with her doing all the work.
Aye. My wife is a fine woman. Are you married, lass?
No. I've had my fair share of proposals, Mr. Bryden, but that's not the life for me.
Marriage is an important institution. You'll find a man one day.
I manage rather well without one, Mr. Bryden. You haven't seen Mr. Shoulder for some time?
I hear about him now and then, but it must be a good few years since I set eyes on him.
He hasn't been here to visit Hobbs Barrow?
Not to my knowledge. I heard he's beset by ailments. Don't leave his home often.
How odd. I assumed he'd spoken to you about my visit.
Not at all.
What can you tell me of Lord Panswick?
He keeps us going. Most of our crops go to feed his animals.
What is he like?
Oh, I've hardly laid eyes on him. He sends his workers here to pick up the crops.
I see. That's quite an intimidating goat you own.
The old girl does a better job of protecting this farm than any hound would. She still produces a lot of milk for us, so we forgive her temper.
You say Mr. Shoulder is at death's door. What exactly ails him?
I'm unsure. It's just what I've heard. I wouldn't want to speculate on matters that are not my business.
Mr. Bryden, may I please have your permission to excavate Hobbs Barrow?
No. Have you not been listening, lass? Samuel found something in there that's best left to rot. No digging here, lass.
Wouldn't you like to find out more about what Samuel found in there?
Perhaps. But Samuel boarded up that barrow for a reason. You don't want to tempt the same fate, lass.
Perhaps I can at least see Hobbs Barrow.
I suppose you've come a long way to be here, lass.
All the way from London, Mr. Bryden.
Have you any proof of all you've told me?
You wish to see proof of what, Mr. Bryden?
I can't let any Tom, Dick or Harry wander around me fields. What proof have you of your claims?
Thanks for your time.
Ta-ra now.
I guess we could show him the letters from Shoulder.
Here is proof that Mr. Shoulder invited me to Bewlay in order to excavate Hobbs Barrow.
Leonard making bold promises, I see. Don't make me regret this, but yes, you can have a look at it.
Thank you.
Any road. Once you've set your eyes on it, you won't be wanting outdo with it. The place gives one a queer feeling.
So where can I find it?
Through that gate to your left. Just head straight across the top to the field there. After 10 minutes or so, you'll see Barrow, set on a hill ahead.
Thank you again, Mr. Bryden. I really do appreciate it.
Alright, let's go do that thing then. You can see his wife slaving away in the fields. Oh, now the rain starts.
I probably should have brought my umbrella.
In the north, always. Let's have a look at this stone.
Perhaps I could take a closer look.
Perhaps you could. Arr. It's a pirate stone.
A.R. I haven't a clue what that could be referring to.
Chisel it?
I don't wish to carve anything into the rock.
Don't let go of the chisel, thank you. Trowel
It's
it.
the barrow itself that I'm more interested in excavating.
Alright. Maybe we'll come back to that. Oh,
Hobbs Barrow.
here we are. The infamous Hobbs Barrow.
Indeed, a barrow of a most unusual rectangular form. I've not seen something like this since West Kennet Longbarrow. Yes, this shall make a fine entry for my book. What secrets do you conceal, I wonder?
Anything over there?
That smell. Earthy and sweet.
Mm.
Three, 2, 1. You can open your eyes now, Thomasina.
I've got something else to ruin your childhood innocence.
Come. Are you ready for your first excavation?
Ooh, digging up dead bodies.
Daddy.
Capital.
Just the
Make
thing.
sure you remember everything I've taught you. I have a feeling you might find something special.
How exciting!
I'll be watching from the steps, my little bird. Good luck.
Thank you, Daddy.
there's the trowel. We'll probably take that first.
Now I'm ready.
Alright, well let's start with the less obvious pile over this way.
No treasures here.
God damn it, Father. Where have you hidden them?
Nothing here.
He's ruining our childhood innocence with this manual labour. Oh, there's something here.
Treasure! Daddy, I found the treasure! Look!
Well done, little bird. Your first successful excavation. That urn you're holding is very old and precious. Take good care of it, all right?
I will, Daddy. I promise.
Right, memories time. If we left click it, does it do anything
I do
different?
have a feeling there is something exceptional to be discovered here. I must gain Mr. Bryden's permission to excavate.
Or we could just start.
In good time.
Alright. Okay, well I presume that's what we crossed the fields to do, that little flashback. Maybe we'll head back to Mr. Bryden, see if we can convince him somehow. Or get a bit of a lead onto what to do next. Spooky music.
Darkness falls quickly here. I should make my way back to the inn.
You don't want to talk to Mr. Bryden again?
I shouldn't disturb him at this late hour.
Oh, how long will we be walking across those fields? Let's check out the goat.
I don't wish to risk waking it up.
Okay. Well, I guess we head back to the inn as she suggested. And in the morning, what was happening in the morning? Oh, the forest path should open up tomorrow as well, so that would be good. The old hole. What's the quickest way back to the inn? This one? No, definitely not. Oh, she's packed up. Never did get our cake. Oh, it's foggy. Has everyone gone to bed? Can I take
The horseshoe is nailed firmly to the wall.
I chisel it.
That's a peculiar idea.
Well, no, all
They
proof.
didn't come to Bewlay to sweep their streets.
Sweep them free of mysteries. Oh, there's someone up there. You can knock on their door.
No one here.
Definitely is someone in though, isn't there? What does the sign
Can't
say?
take the sign, nor do
Okay,
I
well,
want
just tell me
to.
what it says.
The sign is in a shabby state, but the shop appears to be a cobbler's.
Oh, the cobblers.
The
Look at this door, this
building
one's
is
all
in a
boarded up.
dilapidated state.
We could check on our stuff in the alleyway, couldn't we? Make sure no one's been robbing it.
It's late. I should...
All right, all right. A few more people here. Got Mr. Crozier. Those are like the diggers, maybe? Two of them, anyway.
Good evening, Mr. Crozier.
Evening. Thanks again for the fossil, lass. 'Tis truly a beauty.
You're most welcome. What can you tell me of Lord Panswick?
His lordship commands much respect around here, lass. Keeps me busy with work. Why do you ask?
Just curious. How long have you been collecting fossils?
Ever since I were a boy. The moors look a barren place, but there are plenty of fossils to be found in the rock formations. All manner of creatures to uncover.
Such a playground for a young lad. What's your favourite piece in your collection?
The ammonite you gave me today. The most recent is always the best.
Indeed.
What about you, lass? Do you collect out?
I do. You see, I'm writing a book on the Barrows of England. It shall be called Vestiges of the Antiquities in Rural England. I document all my findings.
But what do you collect?
Pottery, tools and such.
Bones too, no doubt.
No, I leave those in place.
You've got a morbid heart, lass. Fussing about in old graves like that.
We're not dissimilar in that we both take an interest in the remains of the long gone.
I suppose you have a point there. How's your book coming along, then?
Very well, thank you. Though I'm rather keen to begin my chapter on Hob's Barrow. Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
Some of the locals getting a bit friendlier with us.
Good evening, gentlemen.
What are you gonna do about him?
If he thinks he can take her away from here, he's got another thing coming. I am gonna knock his bloody block off. In fact, I can think of a better punishment. Oi, what do you want, lady? Piss off.
You heard the man.
Charming.
What was I just saying about the friendlier locals? Ooh, well, it's Herbert. This guy's playing the knife game, isn't he?
Good evening,
interesting
sir.
pastime. Do we make him stab his hand or something?
I'll leave you to it.
Okay, they're not markedly more friendly.
I don't wish to wake him up.
Poor little Herbert. Is the grumpy old man here? Old Cyril.
Hello again, Cyril.
You're still here?
Did Mr. Long convince you of the virtues of Bewlay Station?
What the hell do you think? Now bugger off and leave me to my
Bugger
drink.
I quite like
He
Cyril.
seems even more wound up than usual. I must say, last night has rather put me off using these toilets.
Alright, we'll have a quick chat with Kemp, and then we'll head up to bed, I guess.
Good evening, Miss Bateman.
Good evening, Stanley. I found Mr. Shoulders home, thanks to the help of Father Roach.
Wonderful. So you've met our vicar then?
Yes, I did. An interesting character.
Indeed. So, did old Leonard apologise for his absence?
Not quite. He wasn't home.
What is that man playing at?
You tell me. Henry Long can talk, can't he?
He's a colourful character. The man drinks like a fish.
He certainly does.
I've seen him drink this place dry and still be up to tend his garden at sunrise. The man can truly hold his ale.
I found Hob's Barrow.
Oh, remember what I said, Miss Bateman? There are stories connected to that place.
Yes, stories you won't elaborate on, I might add. Don't worry about me, Stanley. I'm quite capable of warding off imagined fiends.
I have no doubt, but please leave that place be.
I've come this far, there's no turning back now.
That's precisely what worries me.
I don't think we're going to have a
Goodbye.
drink. I think we've
See you soon.
had about 5 pints today, so it's probably enough. Got to bed, I suppose.
Time for bed. Tomorrow I shall convince Mr. Bryden to allow me to begin my excavation.
Miss Bateman.
There's
are
Arthur.
Tired.
Gonna buy you a drink?
One won't hurt. Maybe he's got more
One
information.
won't hurt.
Excellent. I feel bad about what happened last night. I'm sorry I can't remember it.
That's all right, Mr. Tillett. Alcohol can do all sorts of damage to one's memory.
I was thinking that maybe if we had another drink tonight, I might remember what happened.
I'm not sure that's logical.
But worth trying?
I don't need any further convincing.
Take your seat, Miss Bateman. I shall return with the goods.
To Leonard Shoulder.
Wherever he may be. I've been meaning to ask you
He's not going
something.
to pass out again.
Yes?
Why did Leonard Shoulder ask you to dig up Hob's Barrow?
Despite his disappearing act the previous evening, not to mention his questionable sobriety, I decided Mr. Tillett was to be my ally. I spoke again of Mr. Shoulder's letter. his proposed excavation, and my status as an antiquarian and barrow digger. He was fascinated and quite excited at the prospect of meeting the soon-to-be author of a real-life book.
You must find all manner of riches on your digs.
Barrow digging is not all success, Mr. Tillett. Often I'll come across the likeliest of sites steeped in promise. We set to work with shovel and pick and all the other barrow opening paraphernalia you can imagine. Every stone carefully taken down, every shovel full of earth put dutifully through the sieve, and we find nothing. Or you may find a miserable remnant of animal bone or a shard of pottery hardly to be recognized from the peat in which it decayed. Sometimes it's as if some Neolithic humorist prepared an elaborate practical joke for your special benefit.
It still sounds much more exciting than spending your days sitting in England's most remote railway station.
Are you all right, Mr. Tillett?
I've had another argument with Agnes.
Your wife?
Aye. She didn't want me coming to the plough tonight. Truth is, I've been drinking my life away since my mother passed.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry for your loss.
You're kind, Miss Bateman. Thank you. It's been a year since the old girl left us. She had a horrible end, wasting away, day by day. Consumption got her. She was naught but bones by the end. I can't get the image out of my mind. She were everything to me.
I'm so sorry.
I apologise for going on, Miss Bateman. It's not appropriate.
Don't worry, Mr. Tillett. I appreciate your openness.
Used to love going for walks out in the moor, my mother and I, ever since I were a little one. She'd get a tear in her eye as she looked out upon it. She loved this land. I asked Mr. Crozier to build a bench, which we've erected as a favourite lookout spot on the moors. Margaret's Lookout, we called it. Aye.
That's a beautiful tribute.
Aye. If you take a seat there, do keep her in your thoughts, won't you?
Of course, Mr. Tillett. I can relate in some manner. My father had an accident when I was very young. He's still alive, but he can neither move nor speak. He spends his entire life bedbound and incapable of communicating or looking after himself in any way.
How dreadful.
He was a barrow digger himself, an antiquarian of some renown. He taught me so much, even though I was so young. I think writing this book is my way of carrying on his work. It helps me reclaim those earlier memories of him, and I visit him often to tell him all about my excavations.
Can he hear you?
I've no idea. The doctors aren't sure. I'd do anything to make him better, Mr. Tillett. I'd do anything to bring him back to the man he was. I am in a state of suspended mourning for a man caught between life and death.
Dreadful. Just dreadful.
We all have our weaknesses. Mine just happens to be my father.
And what of your mother?
A cold woman. We haven't talked in quite some time. I think she blamed me for my father's accident somehow.
You were but a child.
Indeed. She thus saw it fit that a governess should raise me as she spent her life grieving for my father.
Well then, I propose a toast.
A toast to what?
A shared sense of loss.
I'll toast to that, Arthur. Now then, enough of this wallowing.
Let us be merry. Another round.
I really shouldn't. But I did. And another after that. And another.
She's getting on for about 10 pints today, I think.
The frustrations of my visit to Bewlay slipped away with each swill of Stanley's finest ale.
It's going to be quite the tab when she's finished.
We had great
Might
fun
even be
that
20
night,
pence.
Mr. Tillett and I. I treasure the memory.
Go on then. Let's hear those pipes.
Mustn't.
Sing the song.
You're incorrigible.
Please. You'll make a sad man happy.
Oh, all right then. Clasps, celts, and arrowheads I'll try to claw within my clutch. And if a shield I should espy, I'll vow there ne'er was such.
With popish tricks and relics rare, the priests their flocks do gull. In casting out the earth, take care. Huzzah! I've found a skull.
They were quite macabre, the Victorians. Is that cat going to come in again? Ooh. Hello. This is a bit eldritch. Looks like the stone I found. We're going up to the Barrow, I presume. Mother?
Hello, Thomasina.
What is this? Who are you?
I'm the one that saved your father.
What do you mean?
Sounds like Arthur Tillett.
He were here 25 years ago.
My father?
He were deep down with the others. He were there, and something went wrong. I dragged him out.
Impossible.
I helped him then, and I can help him again.
I don't understand.
Believe my words. You'll find proof in morning. Now go. One more thing. This is not a dream.
So, Bride had mentioned that there were two outsiders, didn't he, who just left the next day quite quickly, and obviously her father was the second one, or one of those two, by the sound of it.
Goodness, that was a terrible sleep.
There's a book.
What's this?
It's a book. A stone on the front.
There's a strange stone strapped to the cover.
IAW. Day 1. Arrived after a decent day's ride from Bakewell. This is a curious place. Locals seem distant. I'm to meet my local contact tomorrow, so it'll be an early night for me. I shall try to keep a diary of my stay here and not give up by day 3 of the excavation as usual. Despite the thrill of possible new discoveries, I cannot stop thinking about my dear wife and wonder if I should have left her in her current state. I must have faith that she will conquer this bout of illness. Day 4. True to form, my journal has been abandoned. Let that not speak for the excitement I feel for this excavation. After much preparation, we dig tomorrow. Such an exceptional site with a unique history. As for the dangers we shall meet them head first, we are prepared. I also sought out a local wise woman yesterday, and she provided me with a tincture for my beloved's nausea gravidarum, which I think is morning sickness. I'm sure she shall be pleased with it upon my return. Lo, a place of miracles. A planted seed sprouted before our eyes and illuminated our path. Nature's laws hold no meaning here, but I clutch my tablet with the knowledge that it shall end this. There's some Greek letters here. P, Rho, Theta, Epsilon, Xi. Okay. We found the code was simply in the singularity of the characters. All eyes must face towards the 7th Archontic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. When the sun and the 2 moons meet, the Guardian shall be defeated. This is escalating quickly. They're like snakes and a crescent moon. A dead language reveals the path. Does these red words, can I click on those? No. For thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the things that I have said. Follow the words of my mouth. Reveal thyself to me. I heard a whisper, not once, again and again. I will pour out my spirit. I will pour out my spirit. I will pour out my spirit. Weird.
It appears to be a journal, full of hogwash.
Is it her
I
father's
don't recognise
journal?
the handwriting.
Well, maybe not.
Maybe
the brothers?
Stanley knows more about it.
Look at the stone. It's a chicken. No idea what it means.
Good morning. How's your head, Miss Bateman? That were quite the tune you treated us to last night.
To be honest, Stanley, I felt better. I
want
take it
that
you
knife
slid this
and
journal
sort of,
under my door?
Shine
beg
on
your
the table,
pardon?
enticingly.
The journal, Stanley.
I certainly did no such thing. Nor could have anyone else. You're the only guest staying here.
What's the meaning of all this? Do you propose that it manifested itself out of thin air?
Well,
I'm sorry. I just don't understand how else it could have got there. Do you ever have strange dreams, Stanley?
me? I sleep as sound as a baby.
I had one such dream last night. It was so vivid.
What were it about?
I think we'll tell him about it. He might have some
I was at
Input?
Hobbs Barrow,
Oh?
but everything was different. Great peaks soared in the distance. And there was a creature.
A creature, you say?
Yes, a short, robed fellow, eyes as black as pitch. It told me that my father had been there in Hobbs Barrow many years ago, but something went wrong, and the creature helped him escape. It said that I would find proof in the morning.
Oh, the journal. You've had a premonition, lass.
Please, Stanley, I've no time for that nonsense. But I'll admit it's a strange coincidence.
Now, what did I tell you about Hobbs Barrow?
That I should leave it alone?
Aye.
Hogwash.
Your dream reminds me of a story from my childhood. An old folk tale about Hobbs Barrow.
Okay, well, let's listen to
What
that
is this
first.
folk tale you mention?
Well, when I were a wee boy, there were talk of a goblin. They say he lived inside Hobbs Barrow, hence the name, Hobbs Barrow. Hob, coming from hobgoblin, of course. Unfortunately, I don't remember anything else about it.
I was told not to believe in such fairy tales, Stanley.
Don't close your mind to such things, lass. I'm sure Mr. Shoulder will tell you more.
Perhaps,
If we ever see him.
If I ever meet him.
What's the stone?
What do you make of this stone?
That's a funny-looking thing. It's got a cockerel on it.
Yes, but have you seen anything like it?
Never.
Are you sure there was no one else here overnight?
Without doubt.
How very, very peculiar.
So, what does it say inside?
He can be trusted. Let's show him.
Take a look.
Well, I can't make head nor tail of it.
Neither can I.
Maybe someone else in the village can help you with it.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
Oh, I want the knife.
Good morning, Mr. Kemp.
Good day, Miss Tompkins.
I'm here for his lordship's paper.
Sorry, lass. Mr. Price hasn't dropped them off this morning. I heard he actually left the village yesterday.
Indeed, I can vouch for that.
Ma'am?
Good day.
Oh dear. His lordship won't be pleased.
My sincerest apologies, Miss Tompkins.
I'll come back in a few days. Ta-ra.
Goodbye.
Knife. Knifey, knifey.
Goodness me, I can't budge it.
Be careful, Miss Bateman. You'll cut yourself. I spent all morning trying to get that bloody thing out. I shall be having words with that scoundrel next time he shows his face.
Curses.
We have our very own Excalibur. It's all yours if you can pull it out, King Arthur.
All right. I like a challenge. What about if we use the glove?
No, that's not it.
Okay. What about if we chisel it, maybe?
I do not wish to damage Mr. Kemp's table any further than it already has been.
Knock it with a stone?
No, that won't achieve anything useful.
Got anything else? Don't think we do we? Alright, well, we'll leave that for now. We'll come back at some point. Maybe if we find something else that might achieve that. Maybe some oil or butter or something just to
I need to convince Mr.
lubricate it a
Bryden
bit.
to let me excavate Hobbs' Barrow and find out where this journal came from.
First thing I'm going to do is check on our crate, just make sure that's still there.
Perhaps I have something in here that could help me get the knife
that's an idea.
unstuck. No, there's nothing useful here. It's Herbert, the local stray.
Okay, but there's a lady doing something here. Oh, it's market day, isn't it? That's right.
Good day.
I'm still setting up my stall. Come back later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Knock on the cobbler's door.
No one here.
Well, you can't run a business like that, never being in. Oh, priest's out.
Good morning, Father Roach.
Ah, Miss Bateman. What a pleasure to see you again. Have you tracked down Mr. Shoulder yet?
Don't get me started.
I'll take that as a no.
Indeed. Do you recognize this journal?
What a tatty old thing. You ought to take better care of your possessions, Miss Bateman.
It's not mine.
Then whose is it?
That's precisely what I'm trying to find out.
I'm afraid I can't help you. I haven't seen it before.
What do you make of this stone?
I don't recognize the symbol from any Christian iconography. Did you make it yourself?
No, never mind. What do you know of Lord Panswick?
Oh, yes. A rather important fellow around here. His vast land holdings give many a steady employment.
I hear he is renovating an old chapel on his land.
Aye, I've heard such reports. He believes this to be a godless land. Something I wholeheartedly disagree with. To which god his chapel will be dedicated to remains a matter of concern.
Why do you say that?
Oh, my apologies. Don't listen to my oafish conjecture. Let us move on.
Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
Just gonna do a little loop of the town, just to see if there's anything different here. Get back in the church, maybe? Doesn't seem to be anything different here. Okay. Go up to nosy old Henry, maybe. Oh, he's gone in.
I've already taken my crate. I don't need to go in there again.
Alright, fine.
Mr. Long mustn't be in.
Oh, I broke my thing, didn't I? My hairpin, didn't I? Oh well. Okay, we could go up to the train station again, maybe? I will do the forest path. I haven't forgotten that that's opened up. I just want to just do a little spin around the village and just just see if anything's changed. Oh, what's that? Attention, Bewlay station is closed for the time being due to track damage between Bewlay and Bakewell. We apologise for any inconvenience caused to Midland Railway. Okay.
Hello? A door of fine construction.
I guess Arthur's not in. We chisel it.
No, that won't work.
Alright. Okay. What's out this way again? Oh, it's Arthur.
Thomasina!
Good morning, Arthur.
You look a bit addled. Are you feeling all right?
I am not used to drinking as much as we did.
Aye. My head is pounding.
To tell you the truth, Arthur, I've had a somewhat puzzling morning.
Oh?
Someone slipped this journal under the door of my room.
Whose journal is it?
I have no idea. The text refers to some sort of excavation.
Stanley must be playing tricks on you.
He swore his innocence. I thought perhaps you might have done it?
No, it wasn't me. That's for certain. Somehow I have a clear memory of last night.
What do you make of this stone?
It's a good shape for skimming across water. What is it?
I'm not sure. It was strapped to the cover of the journal.
How mysterious.
I had a splendid time last night.
Aye, I even remember most of it this time. Thanks for listening to me going on. I really appreciate it.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you too, Arthur.
Oh, well, the first impressions weren't great, but she's made a little friend there.
I wonder who left me this journal then.
Mind if I take a closer look?
Please, go ahead.
The writings of a madman.
I don't disagree. Did the sketches mean anything to you?
No, not at all. But they turn me stomach. You might want to show this to Mother Mildred.
Who's that?
Who is Mother Mildred?
Some think her a witch.
A witch?
Aye. She might be able to help you with the symbols.
Where can I find her?
She lives alone in a little cottage within Herne Wood here.
Ah, I might be able to reach that
Shouldn't
now.
have too much trouble finding her.
Thanks, Arthur.
You're welcome.
Goodbye.
Ta-ra!
Right, before we head into the woods, I'm just going to head up here to the little stream and just see if there's anything different up here. Oh, okay. An interesting painting he's doing.
Dear.
Good day.
That's the guy we saw in the woods yesterday, wasn't it?
I believe we've met.
Miss Thomasina Bateman, the famous antiquarian.
My reputation precedes me.
I can assure you it does.
And you are?
James.
Are you a painter?
You see this beck before you. Look at the water. See how it tumbles and falls. I seek one spot on which my eyes can rest. Be it a stone or a small corner of the current. I meet it with my gaze. And out of the tumbling and falling, a new land rises. I see a new world.
You certainly have the eloquence of an artist. What are you painting?
A new world.
Quite the ambition.
Indeed, my ambition knows no bounds.
Can I see it?
Not yet. It's not finished. And such a world is not complete without you in it.
You flatter me, James.
Nonsense. Say you'll let me paint you.
Why not?
Magnificent. You shall be the shining star of my new world.
I don't really have the time now, though. Perhaps later?
Don't fret, my dear. When the time comes, I shall call on thee.
Capital.
He's not creepy at all, is he?
Do you recognise this journal?
A place to keep one's thoughts and reflect.
Is it yours?
No, my dear.
What do you make of this stone?
It looks antique. You might want to keep a hold of it.
Do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
I'd like to know more about you, Thomasina. What time do you like to rise in the morning? How do you like your tea? What makes you happy?
I don't like him, I'm going to lie.
Late, with 3 spoons of sugar and spending time with my husband.
You disappoint me. I sense no truth in your words. Are you a woman of dubious principles, Thomasina?
You ask too many questions. Do you know Leonard Shoulder?
A man of Bewlay?
Yes.
I care not for the men of Bewlay. Only for the visitors.
What do you know of Lord Panswick?
A fine gentleman. Now that is someone who commands respect.
Do you know him personally?
No, I don't think anyone can really claim that. But what a tiring subject. Shall we discuss something a little more exciting?
Goodbye.
See you soon, my dear.
Yep, he's like my creep alarm's going off. But we'll see. Maybe I'm being unjust to him. Oh, what's this? Flashback?
Thomasina, here, dear. Come say goodbye to your father. Come on now, don't make him wait.
I don't want to.
Aren't you going to miss me?
I hate you, Daddy.
Those are strong words for such a little lady.
I want to come with you.
We've been through this, little bird. You can't come with me this time, but we'll go to Seaborough next month. I promise. Oh, what a dig that shall be.
I hate you.
Well, I love you. See you soon, little bird.
Hmm.
Is that the last time she spoke to him, maybe? Don't think there's anything on this screen particularly. Draw down the hole again and find the badger, but I think we'll go this way. Yeah, this path's been cleared. Oh, there's something there.
The resin has set somewhat. It's firmly gripped to the stump.
We could chisel it.
I've collected some waxy resin.
Waxy resin. I wonder if that would help with the knife. I think I'd want something slippery, but you never know. Chisel her. No, okay. It's Mother Mildred,
Please,
I expect, isn't
forgive my intrusion. Are you Mother Mildred?
Some call me that. I prefer Mildred Walker.
Was she the one at the train
given as
station on the
that's my
first
name.
day?
Apologies. Thomasina Bateman. I think we met
Yes.
at Bewlay Station.
I take it Panswick's men have cleared off. Good riddance. Those ruffians would cut their own noses off if he asked them to. I recognised you the moment I laid eyes on you at the station.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, yeah, it's quite a striking family resemblance. You have your father's eyes, Miss Bateman.
He doesn't need them at the moment.
You knew my father?
Such piercing blue eyes he had. What a handsome young man. William.
He was here, in Bewlay.
Oh, yes. A long time ago, mind. 25 years by my reckoning. But I'll never forget those eyes.
Show her the stone.
What do you make of this stone?
I-A-W. I haven't a clue. Perhaps it's an old folk trinket, or a talisman of some kind. The moors are steeped in folklore.
Let's ask about the journal.
I understand you might be able to help me comprehend the contents of this journal.
A journal, you say?
Yes, it was slipped under my door. I have no idea who it belongs to. It contains peculiar drawings and strange passages. Arthur Tillett told me you might be able to help.
I'm not a witch, you know.
I didn't think you were, Miss Walker.
Good. Well, let me take a look then. These drawings mean nothing to me, I'm afraid.
Oh.
But I think this belonged to your father.
There you go.
Why do you say that?
This journal contains an account of when I met him, you see. You don't recognise your own father's handwriting.
It's been so many years since I've seen it.
Can ask about her father.
How did you come to meet my father?
One might say I have a reputation in these parts.
Loose woman.
Folks from all around come to me for help with their ailments. Hernwood is abundant with flora that, if mixed correctly,
for
will
the
cure almost any
mixture
ill.
for the morning
Your father
sickness.
must have caught wind of this, as one day he came to me, asking for a cure.
A cure for what?
Your mother was with child, and she was suffering the most terrible nausea.
Adam.
I made something to help her.
This is incredible. Is that why my father was in Bewlay?
You were helping Samuel Bryden excavate Hobbs Barrow.
You must be jesting.
Do I look like I'm jesting?
Go on, Thomasina. We figured that out already.
What can you tell me about the excavation?
Well, not much. I only met your father twice. The last time he asked me if I knew anything about binding magic.
Binding magic?
He said he needed it for the excavation.
Hogwash. My father is a man of logic and reason. Why would he be asking about such nonsense?
Perhaps you don't know him as well as you think you do. Anyway, I know nothing of magic and told him so. He seemed disappointed. I never saw him again. but I understand the excavation went ahead. Samuel Bryden hanged himself not long after. Reason enough for you to stay well clear of that place.
A lot to work through here. Let's just work down in order.
You never saw my father again after the excavation?
No, I always assumed he just went home.
Who excavated Hobbs Barrow alongside Samuel Bryden and my father?
From memory, it were just the two of them.
What do you think my father meant by binding magic?
I've no idea. He didn't explain more, and I didn't wish to pry.
This just doesn't sound like my father at all.
You'll have to ask him yourself.
I'm afraid my father has been incapacitated since I was a child. He cannot speak nor move.
Terrible. Oh, I'm sorry.
You said that the flora here could cure almost any ill.
Almost, my dear. But your father's affliction sounds beyond my abilities.
The landlord of the Plough and Furrow told me about a folk tale associated with Hobbs Barrow. Something about a goblin. Are you familiar with it?
No doubt there is such a tale. Name any beastie you can think of, and someone round here will have a story about it.
My thoughts precisely. Charles Bryden mentioned there was a third man involved in the excavation.
Is that so? Well, you'd best ask him about it. He knows more than I do.
Can you tell me anything about Leonard Shoulder?
I know of him, as is the nature of such a small town. I also know he invited you here.
Little escapes you, Miss Walker.
So they say. My path rarely crosses with his. Let's put it that way. But he's a nice enough fellow.
I see. Do you know Lord Panswick?
I know his labourers make a mess of these woods, the brutes. The man himself hasn't graced me with his presence.
You've never met him?
Not since he were a wee lad. A maid brought him to me with a sore stomach. It were all the rich food they were feeding him, nowt more.
Thank you for your help, Miss Walker. They look somewhat like juniper berries. What are those berries you're picking?
An ancient breed, no good for eating. However, they do have some medicinal qualities.
I see. I shouldn't enter uninvited.
I think that might be it for here. All right.
Miss Bateman?
Yes?
Remember what I told you when we first met? You're better off waiting for the next train back to the city.
Why?
Something terrible happened to Samuel Bryden in that barrow. Whatever they found down there, I'd wager it got to your father too. Tell me you won't disturb Hobbs Barrow.
I can't make that promise, Mildred.
Can't say I didn't warn you. There is something unnatural about that place.
We must seek to understand the world by rational means, Miss Walker. One cannot abandon reason.
Another flashback.
Thomasina! Thomasina, come here this instant.
I'm playing with Josephine.
She can wait. This is very important.
I know that humph. It's a very familiar humph,
I'll be
having
back soon,
two daughters myself.
Josephine.
Alright, let's go see what Mum wants.
What is it, Mummy?
It's your father.
Daddy's home?
No, my dear. I must go to Bakewell with haste. Miss Bowes will look after you whilst I'm gone. Is that clear?
Where's Daddy?
He's had an accident.
What happened?
He's come off his horse.
Silly Daddy. Will he be all right?
Of course he will be fine. Your father is as strong as an ox, but I need to go collect him, all right?
Can't I come too?
No, dear. Miss Bowes will look after you.
But I want to come.
Go pick up your dolls, then come inside, all right?
Yes, Mummy.
I guess we'll do that.
Josephine, it's time to go inside now. Where did Mummy go?
Right, so A couple of things I'd like to do. I'd like to go and check on Leonard's shoulder again. What's she doing? Oh.
I helped him then, and I can help him again.
I don't think we need to speak to Arthur again. So shoulders past the church, isn't he? And then we'll go up to the Bryden farm. Oh, who's this?
Hello?
I think we saw her when we were with the priest, weren't we, on the moors. That's not the way.
Excuse me, sir.
It's his shoulder.
Yes?
Did you see a young girl with blonde hair pass by here?
No, lass. There you are. Are you Thomasina Bateman?
That's my name.
How marvellous. It's me, Leonard Shoulder.
Ah, I thought so.
Heavens! I'd given up on finding you.
Please take a seat, Miss Bateman. We have much to discuss.
You've proven to be quite the enigma, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm mortified. I offer you 1,000 apologies. You see, I've been bound to my bed these past few days with a terrible fever.
How dreadful. I take it you're feeling better now?
Aye. I were on me way to find you when I stopped here to catch me breath. I've not much go in me these days.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I were worried you'd have given up on me and left town.
I had no idea what had become of you, Mr. Shoulder. I spent a good amount of time pounding on your front door.
I'm embarrassed, I really am.
What about the glove?
I've been doing my best to sleep through the fever. I am so very sorry. Please accept my apology, Miss Bateman.
Fine, Mr. Shoulder. I've come all this way. Let us speak of the business at hand.
Marvellous.
I've just learned that my father was part of a previous excavation of Hob's Barrow some 25 years ago. Why didn't you mention this in your letter?
What? Where did you hear that?
I have my means.
I swear, Miss Bateman, I had no idea.
I take it you will also deny delivering me my father's journal?
I'm confused. What journal?
My father's journal was slipped under my door at the Plough and Furrow. It wasn't you who did this?
I've been bound to me bed, lass. What an extraordinary coincidence. You are following in your father's footsteps.
It would seem so, Mr. Shoulder. Is this your glove?
I've been looking all over for that. Where did you find it?
In the alley behind the Plough and Furrow on the night of my arrival. Were you there?
As I say, I've been bedbound for several days, Miss Bateman.
How odd.
Can I please have it back?
I don't think it was an old guy.
Thank you.
Assumed it was him.
Why did you invite me to excavate Hob's Barrow?
I've always been curious about the colourful folklore surrounding the place. My father told me all sorts of stories about it when I were a wee fellow. Stories that some folk around here take a little too seriously, especially after those lads entered the Barrow a while back.
Didn't we just ask about his letters?
How did you know about me?
I saw your interview in the Bakewell Times. A young lady travelling about the land, digging up barrows. Perfect for the job.
But why do you wish to excavate the barrow?
I want to see what those lads found in there. My curiosity has grown over the years. Now it is time for the mystery to be solved.
I must say I am rather eager to find out what's in there myself. I've managed to find Hob's Barrow, but Mr. Bryden is yet to give me permission to excavate.
Is that so? Keep trying. You'll relent eventually.
Perhaps you could have a word with him.
Oh, no. A lovely young lass such as yourself has a better chance of changing his mind than a shaky old goat like me.
You told me in your letter there would be no issue gaining access to the barrow.
I didn't foresee any when I wrote to you. I'm sorry this has been more complicated than anticipated. Don't give up yet, Miss Bateman. Keep trying with Mr. Bryden.
Did you know my father?
I don't believe so. What's his name?
William Bateman. He was in Bewlay for at least a few days, from my understanding.
I'm sorry, lass. The name doesn't ring a bell.
Are you sure you had no idea of my father's involvement in the previous excavation?
I'm quite sure. A most fascinating coincidence, but nothing more than that.
I'm starting to wonder if it's more than mere coincidence, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman, I did not take you for a credulous individual.
I'm none of the sort. What can you tell me about the previous excavation of Hobbs Barrow?
Oh, it were 25 years ago, or thereabout. Back then, Bewlay were undergoing a period of great strife. Samuel Bryden hadn't harvested a single crop for 2 seasons. Even Hernwood was sick. Berries went to rot almost as quickly as they grew. Folks started to believe the ground were blighted. Disease spread through the livestock too. People were going hungry, a panic set in.
That sounds terrible.
Aye, but I managed to keep myself fed. These things happen in nature, but the blame for it all fell on Hobbs Barrow. It was long said that a goblin made his home there. A rumour took root that the goblin were not best pleased with the villagers. In revenge for some unperceived slight, the goblin placed a curse on the soil itself. The villagers believed that ridding the barrow of its lodger would put an end to it all.
Hogwash. My father would have paid no heed to such tales.
Whether it were his intent to join the excavation when coming here, I do not know. But whatever it were that Samuel Bryden and those lads did inside that barrow, people say it did the trick. The crop started to grow back, and health returned to the livestock. Bewlay were no longer in the grip of dark forces. You must understand, folk here are a superstitious lot. They don't want you disturbing whatever it were those lads did. As far as the villagers are concerned, the problem were fixed. The thought of another excavation must be conjuring panic that you'll undo whatever it were they did.
This does explain a lot.
And it's also why I'd venture nobody around here wants you to touch the place.
Except for you.
I want to know what's there.
Surely you don't believe these tales of goblins and curses to be true?
Not at all. However, I suspect those lads did find something in the barrow. But did it have any connection to failing crops and dying livestock? No. I can assure you there's nothing to fear. Coincidence reigns supreme.
So what do you think they found?
That is for us to discover, Miss Bateman.
Who was the third man who joined my father and Mr. Bryden on the excavation?
I'm afraid I don't know. Although I'd heard about the excavation and I were intrigued by it, I mostly stayed at home during that time. The atmosphere in the village was rather too tense for me liking. And besides, the excavation were undertaken with an air of mystery about it.
Tell me more of this folklore you mention.
It is said that Hobbs Barrow is home to a goblin. Everyone in Bewlay has some version or another of this story. But the version my father told me as a child described the barrow as a thin place. The goblin were deemed to be the guardian of this so-called thin place.
Tell me more about this goblin.
Some said he were a mischievous little mite, snatching newborn lambs and smashing windows with pebbles. Others said he were friendly, there to lend a helping hand in times of strife. The latter of which makes it all the more surprising as to why the previous excavation took place. My father's stories put the goblin in the mischievous category. Sacksnot, he called the creature. I recall one such anecdote, that Sacksnot entered Bewlay and ordered a pair of boots to be made by the cobbler. However, when collecting them, he insisted on paying for them with a bag of sow's teeth. The cobbler was so scared of angering the goblin that he accepted.
A colourful tale indeed, Mr. Shoulder. Has any explanation been offered for why this Sacksnot cursed the soil?
Your guess is as good as mine, lass.
I'd like to speak to that cobbler and see if that story's true.
What is a thin place?
A place where one can walk between worlds, where the flesh meets the spirit world. Just superstition, of course, as you well know.
I had a peculiar dream last night. I met a creature at Hob's Barrow. I suppose you might say it was a goblin. It told me it had saved my father from trouble inside Hob's Barrow. I'll admit the coincidence of this is somewhat astounding.
A remarkable coincidence, but nothing more than that.
But there is still one thing that puzzles me. The goblin told me proof of its claims would await me in the morning. Surely enough, I awoke to find that my father's journal had appeared in my room.
Very queer indeed.
Mr. Shoulder, you invited me here, to a town I'd never heard of, only for me to discover that my own father was here 25 years before. And not only that, but that he was also embroiled in some sort of superstitious hysteria which goes against everything he ever taught me. Something is wrong here. This must be more than mere coincidence.
It's strange, I'll give you that. But please remember who you are, Miss Bateman.
This is my father's journal.
Incredible. Can I look inside?
You may.
Look at these drawings. Wonder what it all means.
You and I both. It all feels very out of character for my father.
I'm sure you'll find the answers beneath the soil, Miss Bateman.
What do you make of this strange stone?
A carving of a cockerel?
Yes, it was strapped to my father's journal. Do you think it could have something to do with the previous excavation?
Possibly, though I'm not aware of the motif having any meaning around these parts. We're peas of the same pod, Miss Bateman. I knew you wouldn't be frightened by a few old stories. It will be interesting to see what those lads found in there.
Certainly.
Thank you so very much for responding to my letter and for coming here. We have some great discoveries to make, you and I.
I sincerely hope so.
And a chance to follow in your father's footsteps. Right, time for me to shift these old bones. I'm to take me a spot of the plough and furrow. I'll be there all night should you need me assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm sorry again for giving you the runaround. I promise I am not beyond redemption. I won't let you down again. See you soon.
I was starting to wonder if Mr. Shoulder even existed.
Okay, so we don't need to go all the way to Shoulder's house then, seeing as we've seen him now.
The day was starting to test me. The word coincidence felt insufficient to explain what was happening. It was after that first conversation with Leonard Shoulder that I started entertaining thoughts of a truly irrational nature. What if my dream wasn't just a dream? What if it was all more than simple coincidence? What if that thing really could help my father?
Right, so a couple of things. I'd like to go knock on the cobbler's door again. I'd like to go up to Bridley Farm. But we'll do this now, as this is right here.
No one.
Right, okay, well, we'll talk to the blacksmith again. He's reappeared. He might have some insight into some of this stuff. Did we speak to him already?
Good day.
Hey up.
Okay, yeah. Some stuff here.
Look at this, Mr. Crozier. It's my father's journal.
Oh, aye? Why are you showing me?
Did you slip it under my door last night?
Ha! Have you gone daft? Why would I have your father's journal?
Never mind. Do the sketches inside mean anything to you?
Looks like a load of rubbish to me.
I found out my father visited Bewlay 25 years ago. William Bateman, perhaps you remember him?
I would have been just a lad. What were he here for?
That's what I intend to find out. What do you make of this stone?
Don't look like out to me.
Are you familiar with any local folklore?
Oh, aye. The old cobbler used to tell me some right stories. Swore he sold a pair of boots to a goblin when he were a young man.
A goblin, you say? I take it this cobbler was a regular at the Plough and Furrow?
Never drank a day in his life. Sober as a judge. Have you been to the Devil's Toe?
Yes, I'm familiar with the cairn.
Some say they've seen the goblin's daughter there, playing her fiddle. Can't say I've seen her myself, mind.
Do you know any other stories about this goblin?
I don't have the time to be standing here gossiping about old wives' tales.
Apologies. I'm having some trouble extricating a knife from a table in the Plough and Furrow. Might I borrow a pair of pliers?
A knife, you say? I can get that out for you.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Crozier.
Think nothing of it. Wait here.
Now we're armed.
That were a struggle. Here you are.
Thank you so much. Does the name Saxnot mean anything to you?
Never heard of it. What is it?
Never mind. Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
I'd really like to speak to this cobbler, but he's not home again. Let's go back, actually, this way. I wouldn't mind popping up to that Devil's Toe, as that was a bit of a clue in that conversation. Let's go on to the next screen. Ooh.
Good day, little one. Hello? What's this? A fiddle bow? There's no string. My name is Thomasina. What's yours? Don't be shy. I don't mean you any harm. What are you doing out here all alone on the moors? Do you live here?
Can you talk?
Would you like me to fix your bow so you can play your fiddle again? Yes? Hey! Most peculiar. Perhaps I can mend the bow for her. If memories of my childhood violin lessons serve me right,
Oh, there we go.
bowstring is made from animal hair, coated in a waxy resin. The strings don't vibrate without it.
Only two animals I can think of. There's the goat, and there's Herbert. Neither of which sounds particularly enticing. But let's go up to Bridley Farm. Oh, Bryden Farm. I keep calling him Bridley. Bryden Farm. There's little Wally.
Hello, Wally.
Go away! You gave the door back to my sister.
It wasn't very nice of you to bury her favourite toy, Wally.
I gave it to the fair folk, and you stole it back from them.
You don't really believe in fairies, do you? You're old enough to know better.
They're real, and thanks to you, I'm cursed.
There's no such thing as curses either, Wally.
Go away!
Winning hearts and minds there with the local youths. What are we doing this time?
Mummy?
Get away from the fire, Thomasina.
What are you burning?
Nothing. Just waste. Now go inside.
Abrax. Mummy, what is this?
Waste. Burn it.
Some of her father's papers, by the look of it. Excuse me, Mr. Bryden, I just need to shave your goat. Where's the knife?
goat hair is much too coarse to be used for bowstring.
Oh, right, okay. Let's talk with Bryden then.
Good day, Mr. Bryden.
Miss,
I'll
stop you there. I know what you're going to ask. No, I haven't changed my mind. There'll be no digging here, lass.
Mr. Bryden, allow me to explain. There has been an astonishing development this morning.
Yes?
My father was with your brother during the excavation.
Oh.
Yes. Can you believe it? I had no idea he had been here.
The answer's still no, lass. I saw what happened to poor Samuel. I won't risk the same happening to anyone else.
But...
That's enough now. You can feast your eyes on that hovel to your heart's content, but there'll be no digging.
Can we give him anything?
What do you make of this stone, Mr. Bryden? It was strapped to my father's journal.
Wait a minute. Let me see that. By God. Wait here a moment. I need to get something from inside.
I waited for what felt like an age. I now realise that Mr. Bryden must have been in a great debate with himself, wondering whether or not to share his own piece of the mystery with me. The goat stared at me, seemingly in pity, as I stood there in that rolling fog. Finally, Mr. Bryden emerged.
Now then, as far as I know, what I have here is the only thing that Samuel brought back from Barrow. Take a look.
Incredible! A pear!
That's been in my drawer ever since Samuel passed. I suppose it might be important, so I kept it safe. Fate is clearly playing a part in your arrival, lass.
Please, Mr. Bryden, allow me to excavate Hob's Barrow, a place that is no more than dirt and stone.
You're not gonna give up, are you, lass?
I'm not.
Samuel managed to say one thing about those men that helped him. I think it's time I tell you.
Yes?
He stuttered out that one of those fellows could barely walk after they got out of there. Tongue-tied too, the man were.
My father.
You what?
My father. He had an accident around 25 years ago that left him bedbound and unable to talk.
Aye, could be him.
My mother told me it happened in a horse riding accident.
Samuel boarded up that barrow for a reason. Something unnatural occurred, I know it.
Mr. Bryden, we must rely on our rational faculties to explain any...
Promise me you'll be careful. Any sign of trouble, leave without hesitation and we board that accursed place up again. Understood?
Wait, you're giving me permission to excavate?
Aye. Against me better judgment. I don't have the energy to stop you, lass.
Thank you so much. I am grateful.
Don't make me regret my decision. Take Samuel's stone.
Are you sure?
Aye. Give it back to me when you're finished, though.
I promise. Thank you. I'll be sure to show you my discoveries, Mr. Bryden.
I'd rather you don't. Now then, I've got things to get on with.
I don't suppose you can spare any labour to help me with the dig?
Don't push your luck, lass. Market's on today. Plenty of able-bodied men about. Ta-ra now.
And like that, I finally had permission to excavate Hob's Barrow. As exciting as that was, I was distracted by what Mr. Bryden said of his brother's associate. There was no doubt in my mind that father was the stricken man he spoke of. You told me he was crippled after coming off his horse. Why did you lie to me? To protect me, to stop me from following in his footsteps. You failed. And so did Charles Bryden. He should have said no. He should have never given me that stone.
Creepy. Okay, and I think we'll leave it there for now. When we come back, we're going to head back to the marketplace. I guess we'll try and hire some people to help us excavate. We'll go back to our crate and get our tools. And we might try and shave a cat. So, thanks very much for watching this episode of the Excavation of Hob's Barrow. Hope you're enjoying it. It's a really good game. I mean, I've played a lot of point-and-click adventures down the years, and I think this might be one of my favourite. It's really good. So please check it out if you're interested. But for now, we'll leave it there. So thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, then please do hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. That'd be fantastic. And in the meantime, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.